It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon for softball here at Vince Naomi Family Stadium as the Tampa Spartans look to extend their winning streak against the equally red-hot Southwestern Minnesota State Mustangs. Southwestern Minnesota State comes in with a record of 12-6. Tampa with a record of 11-5. Good afternoon once again, everyone. Victor Anderson alongside Taylor Stolworthy. And Taylor, Tampa has ridden the arm of Gwen McGinnis and clutch hitting of Micaiah Brummel O'Neill to get themselves onto a 4-0 start this week. And will look to do the same here today against the Southwest Minnesota State team, who found themselves on an equally hot stretch, winning 6 of their first 8 games here in that trip here to the Sunshine State.
Yeah, it's been an interesting year for Gwen McGinnis, making the jump from being a part of a legendary Spartans rotation to now shining as the returning senior and the ace. It's her senior campaign, and what she told Coach Cantor was to use her as much as she wanted. She is good to go the distance as much as she can. Her stamina is fully maxed out, and what a season she has had so far, even for her standards. A sub-1 ERA in the early goings at a 0.89 ERA, 7-2 record. Her strikeout stuff is a little down as she's starting to eat more innings and work longer outings, but she is just as unhittable as ever and will be a tough foe for the Mustangs offense.
The Mustang offense really found their groove yesterday in their 2 wins versus Northwood and Glenville State, scoring a combined 17 runs in those 2 victories in Bartow, Florida. Riley Clemerlich will lead things off, followed by the catcher Grace Anderson and Eliza Acker batting in the 3 spot. We'll get through the rest of the Mustang lineup after when McGinnis' first pitch is popped up. It'll be New Paver calling off Kenna Kryler. 1 pitch, 1 down for the Mustangs as we get started officially at 2:05 on this Saturday afternoon. Glad that you're with us here in the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. As Grace Anderson comes to the plate, let's give her the rest of the Southwest Minnesota State lineup. Emma Humble will hit cleanup. Morgan Aller will hit 5th as a designated player. Goes outside for ball 1. Paris Van Dyke will hit 6th. Kaylee Hoffman will be in the 7th slot. Nancy Ingalls will hit 8th. And Carly Steck will play 3rd, wear number 4, and hit in the number 9 position. Upstairs by McGinnis, 2 balls and no strikes. Ramsey Hop will get the ball for the Mustangs in game 1 of this twin bill. Anderson hitting .349 this year with 11 runs driven in. Paints it over for a strike, brings the count to 2-1. Kayla Carpenter behind the plate calling the balls and strikes. Rick Zanzone, who was here for yesterday's doubleheader versus Wilmington, will be at first base. Again, this is 2-1. Sent behind the first base dugout and out of play. Makes the count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Anderson's been pretty disciplined this season. Gets on base at a .453 clip. Only 5 strikeouts to 9 walks. Let's see how she deals with the 2-2 count from McGinnis.
And a much improved offense for Southwest Minnesota State under Coach Bailey Bowman in her 8th year at the helm. Mustangs coming off their most successful season under her tutelage last year, went 29-26, qualified for the Northern Sun Conference Tournament. 2-2 misses on the corner, full count. Mustangs off to one of the best starts in the Bowman era, 12-6 on the season. Payoff pitch, gets jammed, a little flare to center field, and Zekman will track it down 2 away in the Mustangs' first. Tampa defense been the standard defense we've seen from them throughout the season. Abby Johns will be in left. Aubrey Zekman, who you saw make the catch, will be in center. Cam Feast will be in right. Around the infield, Jetta Newpaper at 3rd. Kenzie Reynolds at short. Hannah Yetter at 2nd. Carly Salisbury at 1st. Kenna Kryler doing the catching for the senior Gwen McGinnis. Breaking ball. Acker thought about going after it, but takes strike 1.
That looked like the old Gale House special was known for her patented changeup that would always freeze up opposing batters.
0-1 lays that one a little bit outside. A ball in the strike. Acker comes in hitting .345. Has 1 of the 4 Mustang home runs, go along with 5 driven in. Sort of like Tampa, they like to play station to station. They don't hit the ball out of the ballpark. She'd hit that one out of the park, but it was in foul ground. Brings the count to 1-2.
It could be that for Acker and the rest of the Mustangs offense that it might be the stadium that forces them to play a little more small ball. Although, ironically, they've only had no home games this season.
Breaking ball drops inside. Good looking pitch, but no called 3rd strike from Kayla Carpenter. Count a square, 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 down on the top of the first. Misses on the top shelf, and the count is full once again for Gwen McGinnis.
Looks like a very tight strike zone today from Carpenter behind home plate. McGinnis trying to hit those corners.
Liner right there to New Paper will get there to first just in case, and now retires the Mustangs in order. So another 3-up, 3-down inning recorded by the All-American Gwen McGinnis. Spartans will come to the plate for the first time against Valley Hopper. We come back to Tampa, Florida on the Sunshine State Conference. Digital. Back here in the Namoli Family Stadium, Victor Anderson alongside Taylor Storeworthy. Bottom of the first. Ramsey Hopper go to work for Southwest Minnesota State as she gets the last-minute inspection on the rosin bag from Rick Sanzone. Shed a New Paper for the second straight game will lead things off for the Spartans, followed by Abby Johns and Kenna Kryler. We'll give you the rest of the lineup in just a moment. As New Paper takes a little extra time, we'll give you the rest of that lineup. Cam Feast will hit cleanup. Micaiah Brumble O'Neill will hit fifth. Carly Salisbury will hit sixth. And New Paper takes that for strike one. Henrietta will hit seven. Kinsey Reynolds in the 8th spot, and Aubrey Zeckman dropping down to the number 9 slot as you see assistant coach Denise Rubio go into her traditional spot over at first base. 1-0 little tap over the short. Ingles is there for the first. Is just in time to retire New Paper, who fortunately didn't turn that left ankle trying to beat out that throw. One down for the Spartans.
Good hustle by New Paver. She's already had really good speed on the base path, as well as an elite glove of the hot corner. Engel had a tough play, but was able to make it stick.
So here comes Abby Johns, who's starting to hit very well. First pitch goes after that one. Hump over the first, and just like that, 2 quick outs in the Tampa first.
Hop definitely benefits from getting weak contact and balls in play. It has gone against her at times this season. She allows a .312 average from her opponents, part of her .335 ERA and 3-5 record to start the season. Interesting, though, for the Mustangs, not to bring out Marsh for Game 1. I think they'll be saving her for Game 2 against the Spartans.
Kenna Crowler takes that one upstairs for ball 1. Hop actually got the start versus Glenville State in their 9-1 run rule win yesterday. Went 5 innings, gave up an unearned run with 3 strikeouts and a walk. And with her pitch count being relatively economical, Coach Bowman electing to give her the ball in game 1 and give her ace some rest for game number 2. And Kenna Kryler takes it up high, 3 balls and no strikes. Is quickly giving the Mustang defense. Riley Klamerlich is in left. Kaylee Hafferman is in center in the right field. Actually, Kaylee Hafferman is in center field. Paris Van Dyke is in right. As Crowley takes the strike to bring the count to 3-1. Eliza Ackers at first, Emma Humpel at second, Lexi Ingalls at short, Carly Steckett got third, Grace Anderson doing the catching for Ramsey Hop, who gives up the 2-out walk to Kenna Kreitler. Hop on the season, 3-5 with a 3.35 ERA, making her 9th start on the season. This is the 5th start that she's made in their trip to Florida. Kind of been a mixed bag for her. She's gone 2-2 on the trip, alternating losses and wins in those appearances. Cam Feast takes the first pitch, misses low, not far enough from Anderson to let Kreidler break for second. Feast on the season hitting .286 with 5 RBIs. Trying to find that support in the cleanup spot behind Kenna Kreidler. Hits down one well, shoots it past the 3-4 hole. And just like that, back-to-back base runners for the Spartans with 2 down. They lived with 2 outs yesterday versus Wilmington. And trying to do the same here in the first inning. They'll bring up probably the hottest bat in this Tampa lineup, DP Micaiah Brumble O'Neill.
I think this is exactly the type of spot Coach Cantor wants to see the Spartans get in early in the game. She mentioned that the team has been hitting really well this season, but the thing that has just been sticking out and holding them back, as there's a fly out to center field, is struggling in plays like that with runners in scoring position.
Rumble O'Neal, first pitch fly out to Hafferman, and the Spartans cannot take advantage with 2 outs. No runs on 1 hit, 2 Spartans left on base. We're through a full inning. Scoreless between the Mustangs and the Spartans on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Second we go in Tampa, Florida on a sunny Saturday afternoon. No score between the Spartans and the Mustangs. Victor Anderson alongside Taylor Stowworthy on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. And Taylor, you had a chance to talk to the head Mustang herself, Bailey Bowman, about her team's strong stretch and the nice Mustang contingent that kind of got things started a little early in the parking garage behind us.
For sure, and she's mentioned that the fan support, especially during this Florida trip, but all season long, has been incredible. Mentioned that the fans have always helped out with team meals and cheering on the players, and wanted to give a thank you to the parents who are down here on a beautiful and humid day in Tampa, Florida, to cheer on the Mustangs, because it was cool. We were walking around the stadium, and we noticed out in the parking garage across the street, not the one on the camera, as that's out number 1 from Kenzie Reynolds, there were a lot of Mustang fans having a good time, having their own barbecues and having a tailgating session, which I think is pretty cool. We don't always get to see that here in Tampa.
I'm just disappointed that none of the Mustang fans brought some beverages over for us in the press box to partake in. I mean, we'll obviously have it either between games or after games, but we digress. We'll have an early substitution, looks like, for Southwest Minnesota State. It'll be Ramsey Hopp, who is in a flex position. She will hit for Morgan Aller.
Makes sense. Hop is a two-way player by trade for the offense. And on the season, hasn't been too bad at the plate. 8 hits in 20 tries. Even a triple for a lone extra base hit.
Aller's usually known for her pinch running prowess. We like to usually see this with coaches where they'll have the pitcher hit in that from the flex position, put them in a lineup, and have the DP be in that flex position. Hop flips that one foul, brings the count to 1-1. Hop on the season, hitting .400. She's 8 of 20 with 5 RBIs and a triple for Southwest Minnesota State. Mustangs had a team hitting .314. Times that changeup, and now we'll go just over the outstretched glove of Kenzie Reynolds. And Ramsey Hop will get on board with the first base hit of the game for either side. And we will see Morgan Aller come back into the game to be the runner at first base.
Yeah, taking a look at the numbers, that's exactly what they like to do. Out of 1 start and 14 games played, Aller's only had 0 whopping at-bats on the year.
And kind of remember that she is used mainly as a pinch running specialist, and this is exactly what Coach Bowman wanted to do. Give Hop a chance to hit, get the base hit, and enter Aller in to run. Shot back to McGinnis, and that'll be an inning-ending double play. Softly lined to the All-Americans, tosses it to Salisbury, and that's a 1-3 inning-ending double play. So they waste the Ramsey Hop single, and we head to the bottom of the second, still scoreless on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. We head to the bottom of the second, still scoreless here from the Moley Family Stadium alongside Taylor Storeworthy. Victor Anderson, glad you're with us on this Saturday afternoon. 6, 7, 8 coming up for Tampa. Carly Salisbury, Hannah Yetter, and Kenzie Reynolds to take on Ramsey Hopp. And Salisbury takes the first pitch low, ball one. Salisbury hitting 289, 8 runs driven in for the freshman first baseman. And hits that one well, drops that into the left field, and that'll be the leadoff single for Salisbury. Salisbury continuing her strong homestand with the bat. And I'll set things up for Hannah Yetter. Yetter comes in hitting 250 with a run driven in. Does have 2 sacrifices. Try to lay at third. Misses that time for strike one.
Definitely makes sense to try to advance the runner. You've got Reynolds and Zekman on deck who can get those nice kind of bloopy base hits that would be able to bring Salisbury home.
This time just brought down perfectly. Could be a base hit. And instead it's going to be a nice throw by Steck to throw out Yetter on a bang-bang play over on the bag.
I love the reactions of Coach Rubio on the play. Desperately going safe on the close throw to first. Great hustle by Yetter, but there was just enough time for the Mustangs D to prevent it from being a bunt single. Still, can't be too disappointed about a really nice sacrifice.
She does the job perfectly. Her third sacrifice in the season brings up the shortstop, Kenzie Reynolds. Reynolds takes ball one. Reynolds hitting 192 with a run driven in. Hoping that the local product from Steinbrenner High can get the Spartans on the board. Fouls out one away, brings the count even 1-1.
There is a recent lineup change, Victor, that I think really plays into the Spartans' hands here, and that's Zekman batting last. She's been a little bit of a cold stretch as of late, but I really like her in this reverse leadoff role for the Spartans, and unless there is a line drive inning-ending double play like we saw in the previous inning, she'll have a chance with a runner in scoring position, or at worst, maybe if they get the lead runner out on a fielder's choice at first or second. So, a dangerous spot.
2-1 count. Reynolds hits that one well, but I'm going to go over the Mustang bullpen, right? He'll bring to count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Reynolds has been getting on base as of late. Had 3 walks in that doubleheader versus Wilmington yesterday. Been 0 for 4 in his homestand so far with the 3 walks. Deuces wild to the shortstop. Drops in the dirt. Nice block by Grace Anderson. Brings to count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Reynolds gets jammed and fouls out one away. We'll do it again with the 3-2 count.
Hopp's had pretty solid command, only 17 walks in 54 innings. Doesn't really get a lot of strikeouts, but if you're not walking too many people, it's not a big issue, I don't think.
And 6 of those 17 walks came in her season opener at St. Cloud State, where they lost 3-2. Reynolds again with good contact, but again hits it out of play.
A notable weakness of Hopp's game has been extra base hits. She's had 72 hits allowed this season, not counting today. 19 of them doubles, 3 of them triples, 3 home runs.
So she has been shown a tendency to... Oh, call strike 3. Good job by Hopp to bend that one back over the zone and freeze Reynolds. So 2 down and an opportunity for Aubrey Zekman to knock home Salisbury. Zekman's senior average dropped to 333, hitting 4 RBIs on the season. Zekman, first pitch, hard chopper over the short. Angles with the double clutch to first base, and they get her out. And that ends the inning. So once again, solid defense from the Mustangs. Strand the Spartan in scoring position. No runs on, 1 hit, 1 left on base. We're through 2 here in the Moley Family Stadium. Still Tampa, Southwest Minnesota State scoreless on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Kaylee Hofferman will lead things off for Southwest Minnesota State. We're going to the top of the third, no score. Victor Anderson here with you alongside Taylor Storer. The Hofferman takes outside for ball one. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for Tampa. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for the Mustangs. Spartans have left 3, Mustangs have left 1. Now one will sail over the head of assistant Emily Strasser. Foul brings the count to 1-1.
It was a quick inning last time out for McGinnis. Was able to force a quick double play after the Hop single earlier.
That one away brings the count to 1-2. That's been a kind of a stretch that Gwen McGinnis has been on during this homestand. During the homestand, Gwen McGinnis is 4-0 with a 0 ERA. Has picked up 3 wins and a save alone this week. Misses on the outside corner, 2-2. McGinnis during that stretch, 25 in the third innings, 19 strikeouts. Slow roll over to second, Yetter, 1 down. And talking with Coach Cantor prior to the start of this long homestand this week, she was kind of referencing that she wanted to keep McGinnis as fresh as possible, but with the circumstances that took place in the back end of the doubleheaders on Wednesday and Friday, as she gives ball one to Lexi Ingles, had to kind of force her to pitch in relief, and her pitch count has gone up. Do over 220 pitches in the 4 games the Spartans have played this week. Swing and a miss by Ingles brings the count to 1-1. But to your point, Taylor, when we came in the open, she says, hey, I'm ready to be used in whatever role and as long as I need to be used. And she has shown no ill effects to this particular point. That misses on the corner, 2-1.
Yeah, and Coach Cantor did also mention that in the games today, she'd love to see continued improvement throughout the rest of the pitching staff and those rookies as the count goes 2-2. But at the same time, in case of emergency, McGinnis said, throw me as much as you want.
And she has done that so far in these 4 games. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Lexi Ingles. Down and low, below the knees, and another full count for Gwen McGinnis. McGinnis comes in with a 7-2 mark with a .89 ERA. Jam, nice scoop by a new paper at third. Low is low, but nice job by Salisbury to pick it up, 2 down. The Tampa defense, after having a rough series finale last week versus Lynn, has really cleaned up the defensive side of things, particularly with that infield of Salisbury, Yellow Reynolds, and New Paper. So that Coach Cantor really stressed to the team going into this stretch of games. That's outside to Carly Steck, 1-0. Tampa uncharacteristically with 21 errors on the season. Low jam shot right to Reynolds, and another 1-2-3 frame for Gwen McGinnis. Mustangs only held to 1 hit, but the Spartans only with 2, and they both have 0 runs on the scoreboard through 2.5 on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Back here inside Naomi Family Stadium, top of the order, due up in the bottom of the third. New Paper Johns and Kryler. So take on Ramsey Hop for Southwest Minnesota State. New Paper takes a nice breaking ball for ball 1. Victor Anderson alongside Taylor Storeworthy as the Spartans and the Mustangs renew acquaintances on this Saturday afternoon. Hop finally gets the sign she likes for Anderson in the 1-0. Is flipped right over the head of Abby Johns. Mustangs and the Spartans doing battle for the 3rd straight season here in Central Florida almost took an awkward huff for Ingles, but she's able to make the play to retire Newpaper, one down in the Tampa third.
I mean, we could see that weird bounce it took off the dirt. I know for a lot of players that would mess him up and maybe get the ball past them into the outfield or dropped. Good job by Engel to hold on to it, and annoyingly for the Spartans, she's been very good with the glove at short today.
Abby Johnson to play, grounded out to second, takes strike one. 15th all-time meeting between the Mustangs and the Spartans. Tampa has a commanding 13-1 series lead over Southwest Minnesota State. And a slight correction, this is the fourth straight season that these two teams have played each other here in Tampa. Stop liner right to Steck, and 2 down. And this is exactly the start that Coach Bowman wanted from Hop. He's keeping your ace, Jordan Marsh, fresh for game number 2. And the way Hop's been pitching, keep that pitch count economical. Certainly it puts an advantage for Southwest Minnesota State. Kenna Kryler now to the plate, walk back in the first. Take strike one. Hop works very quickly in the circle. Kryler takes the 0-1 outside, a ball and a strike. A little bit low, 2 balls and a strike. Kryler had her consecutive games reaching safely streak to start the season and 15 yesterday. Nice job back to Hop, a little PFP, ends the frame for Tampa. So another 1-2-3 inning for Hop. We'll head to the top of the fourth, still looking for our first run on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Top of the fourth we go from Tampa, Florida. We are still scoreless on a pitcher's duel between Riley Hop and Gwen McGinnis. Victor Anderson alongside Taylor Storeworth. And Taylor, we kind of figured we were going to see a pitcher's duel, but you figured it was going to be Jordan Marsh and Gwen McGinnis putting up the zeros. But Riley Hop, the freshman, has done more than enough to give the Mustangs a viable chance with 3 shutout innings to start off game 1.
Yeah, I think that's a collective kind of strategic call out of Coach Bauman to save Marsh for the if needed, well, actually, yes needed game 2 because it is a doubleheader, but keep her fully rested against a slightly weaker Spartan arm to try to help the Mustangs out.
Pop up behind third. Good job by Newpaper maneuvering around the bag to avoid getting tripped up. That's out number 1. And also remember, Marsh as a freshman last year was second in the nation with 10 saves. So she knows how to come in the game in relief. If the Mustangs can somehow scrape a run against Gwen McGinnis, which has been hard to come by in the last few appearances, you likely will see Marsh come on to try and close the door. Grace Anderson takes the 0-1 upstairs to even up the count.
Marsh did have one bullpen appearance where she did indeed get a save this season. But for now, at the very least, it seems that the Mustangs are very content to let her just go the distance. 9 complete games on the year.
Line to center for Zekman, out number 2. Reset the defense for the Spartans. Johnson left, Zekman in center. Feaston right. Salisbury at first, Yetter at second, Reynolds at short, Newpaper at third. Kryler doing the catching, McGinnis doing the pitching. Eliza Acker goes after that first pitch, hits that one foul, almost catches one of our cameramen down on right in front of the Tampa dugout. Acker grounded out to New Paver to end the first. Mustangs only have one hit so far today. And will not be two. Oh, it is two. That one just beat out by Acker. It'll be a 2-out single. That ball got hit this deep enough in the middle. And it's by Yetter's good effort. Acker legs it out. It'll bring up Emma Humpel. Humpel goes out to the first pitch, and that one will sail beyond Feast and Yetter's range in foul ground. Scoreless in the top of the fourth, 2 outs. Eliza Acker at first after an infield single. And again, that'll be fouled away and Humpel behind 0-2. McGinnis with 37 pitches, 23 strikes. Only recorded 1 strikeout today. And a good job again by Humpel, fouling that one off. Actually, correction before McGinnis hasn't recorded a strikeout today. He's only scattered 2 hits. Upstairs, 1 ball and 2 strikes. McGinnis has really been utilizing that ground ball and getting that infield involved. And a good job by Humpel of fouling off that pitch high and tight. McGinnis, her last start versus Wilmington in Game 1 of that doubleheader Friday, tied her season high with 7 strikeouts. Drops that one a little bit too far outside. Kayla Carpenter not giving McGinnis the benefit of the doubt there. 2-2. Gets jammed, and it'll be Reynolds in shallow left center field, and she hauls it in and ends the fourth inning for the Mustangs. So Acker stranded after the infield single. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. At the halfway mark, still zeros on the board on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Bottom of the fourth we go. It'll be Cam Feast, Micaiah Brumble O'Neill, and Carly Salisbury due up against Ramsey Hop. Victor Anderson back alongside Taylor Stolworthy. Glad that you're with us on this Saturday afternoon. Game 1 of a twin bill. And Feast drops down a bunt. Hop, delayed throw over to first base is late. As Humpel came over late with a double clutch from Hop. And Cam Feast now 2 for 2 to start off the fourth inning.
A really good idea from Feast to put the defense to the test. And Tampa now has a leadoff runner to work with. It is a tough decision here for Coach Cantor, though. Do you have one of your more clutch batters, Brumble O'Neill, lay down the bunt?
The answer is yes, and I was fouled off the protective mat of Anderson. Brumble O'Neill has been one of the more clutch Spartans during his homestand. Had the pinch hit game-winning single versus Assumption in Game 2 on Wednesday night. Knocked in the lone run in a 1-0 win against Wilmington Friday afternoon. And almost drops outside for ball 1. And during this week, Brumble O'Neill, 5 for 10, 5 RBIs during the homestand, 8 for 17 with 7 runs driven in. Drops down the bunt on a 1-1, perfectly placed. Though the first base is safe. Though the third, great coverage by Anderson, and Feast is thrown out. Great job by Ackert and good job by Grace Anderson. She saw Steck coming in for field of bunt. Anderson hustles all the way to third and gets the tag to tag out Cam Feast.
This Tampa team is known for aggression on the base path, but the Mustangs do a great job of preventing runners at the corners, so it's a tougher spot for Salisbury now.
So here's Salisbury, takes strike one. Great defense by the Mustangs on that bunt, and particularly Grace Anderson jumping out of her crouch when she saw Steck come in to play that bunt from Brumble O'Neill. Salisbury shoots that up the middle, and how big was that first out at third? Because that could have been bases loaded, but instead it's first and second, one out for Hannah Yetter.
A benefit is at least there is only one out, or actually two out. Yeah, only one out on the board. So with one away, it will go down to the second base player. And I know Yetter's definitely going to be excited for a chance to swing away.
Yetter with the sacrifice, her first trip to plate. That one bends back inside on the righty-lefty matchup for ball one. Spartans with 3 straight hits to start the inning, but only have runners at first and second. And that will be the 4th straight hit for Tampa. Coach Cantor will bring around Brumble O'Neill. Throw gets cut off. Brumble O'Neill will score standing up. Hannah Yetter with her second RBI in the season gives the Spartans a 1-0 lead. You mentioned, Tyler, the opportunity for Yetter, and she takes advantage of said opportunity, and Tampa strikes first. Up comes Kenzie Reynolds. Reynolds struck out looking back in the second. Slow chopper. Shortstop may have got bumped to get the out at second base. I thought Ingles may have got clipped accidentally by Salisbury. But nonetheless, they'll get the force with Yetter at second. So first and third, 2 out. They'll bring up Aubrey Zeckman.
Zeckman had a runner in scoring position back in the second. See what she can do right here. I wonder if you send Kenzie Reynolds, see if you maybe hit a double steal. The risk is that there's 2 outs.
Almost goes over. Coach Cantor foul. In situations like that, with a 1-run lead, it's certainly on the table, but I think Coach Cantor has trust in the freshman to put the ball in play, especially with the infield playing the way it is right now. Tries a bunt, and runs it foul. Reynolds was on the move. Brings the count to 0-2.
It's 2 outs, but I do like the idea of the squeeze. Really force some big defense out of the Mustangs again.
They're giving Zeckman a big gap up the middle. That's where Salisbury and Yetter had their base hits earlier this inning. Zeckman pops that one past Coach Cantor and Steck at third. Of course, last week, R.B. Zeckman went 4 for 4 versus Lynn. 26 instances of a 4-hit game in Spartan history. Holland drops a little bit high. Reynolds will hop back to first. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-0 lead for Tampa. Carly Salisbury at third. Kenzie Reynolds on at first. 1 ball, 2 strike count to Zeckman. Ramsey Hop trying to keep this a 1-run lead, and she will not. That one flare in a shallow left field. Salisbury scores, and that's to get off the schneid for Aubrey Zeckman. Her 2-out single gives the Spartans a 2-0 lead, and Taylor once again was the theme for Friday, hitting and knocking runners in with 2 away.
Yeah, some clutch hitting here for the Spartans, exactly what they need. And Zeckman moving from the leadoff and 2 spot in the lineup to this reverse leadoff position, 9th in the order, has had multiple chances now today with runners in scoring position, and 1 for 2 with some clutch hits.
Paver takes a strike. Jenna over 2, both ground downs to Ingles is short. Spartans now ahead 2-0. Ramsey Hop now trying to limit the damage. 1-1. With the way Gwen McGinnis has been locked in the circle, if Tampa could somehow scrape a 3rd run across, that might be more than enough, but instead Hop robs the base hit, catching that line drive, and that ends the inning. But Tampa plates 2 thanks to RBI singles from Yetter and Zeckman. 2 runs on 5 hits, no errors, 2 left on base. 4 innings in the books. Spartans strike first. They lead 2-0 on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. It'll be Ramsey Hop set to lead off the top of the fifth for Southwest Minnesota State, followed by Paris Van Dyke and Kaylee Hofferman to take on Gwen McGinnis. Victor Anderson, glad that you're with us here on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Hop responsible for one of the two base hits for the Mustangs. That was a one-out single in the second. And then Morgan Aller came back in and got doubled off on the liner back to Gwen McGinnis. McGinnis, 45 pitches, 28 strikes today. Pitch number 46 is outside for ball one. McGinnis hasn't needed to strike out so far today, Tyler, but has used the defense and some clutch hitting to have a 2-0 advantage.
And for the Mustangs, it'll be Hop looking to give herself some run support as the lineup has been pretty much blanked from top to bottom. Acker, the only other Mustang player to get on base, let alone get a hit today.
And another pop-up, and it'll be Yetter in the outfield, calling off Cam Feast for out number one in the top of the fifth. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Spartans. They have left 5. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Mustangs. They've left 2. McGinnis has faced one batter over the minimum through 4 1/3. And that was inside to Paris Van Dyke for ball one. Van Dyke hit into the aforementioned double play on a soft liner back to McGinnis that doubled up Aller to end at the second. Van Dyke ahead, 2 balls and no strikes. Hits that one on the inside of the hands, fouls along third, and New Paver and assistant head coach Troy Bowman. Two.
The Mustangs have done a good job drawing long at bats today, but despite having almost as many balls as strikes, McGinnis has still had elite command.
2-2, bounces that one over the short. Reynolds. High throw, Salisbury keeps the right foot on the bag, 2 away.
Yeah, Reynolds can be prone to some of those high throws sometimes, but a good job by Salisbury making the leaping grab and landing back on the base.
So 2 down. Here, Kaylee Hafferman will step to the plate. Hafferman rolled over on a soft grounder to second to lead off the third. Swing right in front of Lexi Ingles for strike 1. 2-0 lead for Tampa in the top of the fifth. 2 down, bases clear. 0-1 to count the Hafferman. Now 1 in play. Another ground ball to Yetter and another 1-2-3 frame for Gwen McGinnis. She has faced 1 over the middle through 5 innings of work in the circle. Spartans will look to extend their lead 2-0 when we come back to the bottom of the fifth on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Bottom of the fifth in name-only Family Stadium alongside Taylor Starworthy. Victor Anderson, glad that you're with us. The rest of our crew here at the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network and TampaSpartans.tv. Abby Johns takes strike 1 to start out the fifth. It will be Johns, Kreidler, and Feast due up against Ramsey Hop. Spartans with a 2-0 edge over the Mustangs. Now one proverbially, pun intended, hops in front of the catcher, Grace Anderson, 1-1. Johns over to, lined out sharply to Steck at third, her last time up into third. And now we'll go just over the glove of the second baseman. Double clutch by Van Dyke. Thought she had a chance for the 9-3 putout, but instead it'll be a leadoff single for Abby Johns. And it'll bring up Kenna Kreidler.
Kreidler's been able to get ahead of both of her at-bats, and in this situation, I think she'd be the only Spartan to get the call to swing away instead of advance the runner via sacrifice.
Kryler does have a sacrifice on the season. Does show bunt here. Drops that foul. And again, the Mustangs with Steck crashing down hard at third, anticipating said bunt called by Coach Leslie Cantor. Ramsey Hop with 54 pitches so far and 4+ innings of work. Upstairs, and no appeal over to Rick Sanzone at first. Brings the count to 1-1 Spartans score both of their runs in the bottom of the fourth. Kryler drops down the bunt, and they get it over to first. So Coach Cantor, understanding the 2-run deficit, has her power hitter to lay down a bunt, and she executes perfectly. And this is the type of lineup that Coach Cantor has. She doesn't care where you are in the lineup. If you can lay down a bunt and move that runner over, that keeps you in the lineup. And here comes Cam Feast. Feast goes out to the first pitch, passes underneath the glove of Humple for a base hit. They'll bring around Abby John. She will score standing up. And Cam Feast with a 3-for-3 day. And her third hit gives a 3-0 lead to the Spartans.
That is a clean hit out of Cam Feast, splitting the defense. And it feels like throughout this home stretch, she has really started to heat up. Also now moving up to that cleanup spot in the order for the Spartans.
And that's been a spot that she's really thrived in ever since the Spartans started a home portion of their schedule. As Bumble O'Neill takes that for ball one. Bumble O'Neill had a bunt single, but Cam Feast got thrown out trying to go from first to third on a great defensive effort from Grace Anderson back in the fourth. Feast does not go. Bumble O'Neill, we referenced her numbers during this home stretch, 8 for 17, 7 runs driven in. She's ahead 3-0. Brings that for a strike, makes the count 3-1. See if Brumble O'Neill gets the green light here. See if Feast will be in motion. 3-1 from Ramsey Hop. Feast does go, and that drops into right field. That should bring home Cam Feast. That rolls all the way to the fence in right field. Feast runs around. She will score. Brumble O'Neill will be upstanding with the triple. And the hot hitting for the freshman, Micaiah Brumble O'Neill continues. Makes it 4-0 Tampa.
Wow, what a base hit. And with how deep the outfield is, if you can slide it all the way to the wall, it becomes really dangerous. Good hustle, though, by Paris Van Dyke to get to the ball and get it back in play in time, because we have seen Inside the Parkers go to that right corner before.
Salisbury can't hold up her swing for strike one. They got Salisbury a big gap in the middle of the infield. Ingles shifting over more towards third along with Humple. Salisbury takes a strike, falls behind 0-2. Salisbury 2 for 2, pair of singles and a run scored. The middle of the Tampa order has done the damage today. They are responsible for 7 of the 10 Tampa hits. Up high, 1-2 strikes.
It's this third trip through the order that's really helped Tampa out as well. They are currently 3 for 4 in their third at-bats of the game.
And, of course, the sacrifice bunt for Kenna Kryler as well during that third trip through. That was down and inside, and Salisbury has evened up the count, 2-2 strikes. Tampa leads 4-0 in the bottom of the fifth. Micaiah Brumble O'Neill stands 60 feet away at third. The 2-2 from Hop. Inside, will that be deep enough? Caught by Kramelich. Tags up. Brumble O'Neill slides in safe. And Carly Salisbury does the job. Sacrifice fly makes it 5-0 Tampa. So that's exactly what you want if you were Coach Leslie Cantor. Get that ball in the air, get it deep enough, and let Brumble O'Neill run her way home. 5-0 Tampa, 2 out bases clear for Hannah Yetter. She goes out to the first pitch, hits that deep to right field. That's going to go over the head of Paige Van Dyke. Bounces at the bottom of the roll in right center field. Yetter around second. She'll come to third. She slides in safe. 2 triples in the inning for the Spartans. First by Brumble O'Neill and now Hannah Yetter. And the Spartans are in business once again. And we will see a pinch hitter come on for Kenzie Reynolds. It'll be Kelsey Winters.
Yeah, Tampa trying to strike the iron while it's hot. Reynolds is really good with the glove, but not always the most consistent at the plate. So we're getting to see Winters get a plate appearance here to try to convert in a clutch spot. Winters, a two-way player, previously played D1 at Iowa before transferring to the Spartans. I like the call because even though she doesn't get on base that often, she's got some pop behind the bat, and that is exactly what Tampa's looking for to continue what has been a dominant inning.
Winters, a local product from Wesley Chapel and Newsom High School. And as Taylor referenced, started her career at the University of Iowa. Didn't play her freshman year in 2023. Takes that in for strike one. Winters still looking for her first base hit of the season. She is 0 for 6 with a walk and 3 strikeouts. Won't add to that tally. She hits that one to half a minute center. And that ends the inning for the Spartans. But Tampa adds 3 more on the board. An RBI single from Cam Feast, Makai Brumman O'Neill with the triple, and then Salisbury with the sacrifice fly. Makes it a 5-0 Tampa lead after 5 on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Top of the 6th inning, which means a late inning defensive change for Leslie Cantor. Joey Trawick will come in the game for Cam Feast in right field. And will hit in the number 4 spot of the order for the Spartans. Kenzie Reynolds will re-enter the game at shortstop. It'll be Lexi Ingles to lead things off for Southwest Minnesota State, followed by Carly Steck and Riley Kremelich for the Mustangs. Victor Anderson alongside Taylor Storworthy, and the Tampa Bats, after being quiet for the first 3 innings, have woken up in the last 2 and have staked Gwen McGinnis to a seemingly insurmountable 5-0 lead as she gives ball 1 to Ingles.
There have been crazier comebacks in the past that the Spartans have been able to pull off. But yeah, you definitely feel good if you're Tampa here with that 5-run lead. And McGinnis is absolutely cruising, still under 60 pitches on the day.
57 pitches to be specific for the All-American, 36 strikes. Has only scattered 2 hits. Hasn't struck out anybody, but more importantly, hasn't walked anyone either. Makes that for a strike, brings the count to 1 and 2. And if you break down the outs recorded by McGinnis, only 2 outs have been in the outfield. Both of them have been to Aubrey Zekman. Sails outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Keeping everything low and down. Has been getting some soft contact from the Mustang bats. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and it took her 5+ innings when McGinnis picks up her first strikeout of the afternoon. Dean Coach Leslie Cantor realizing what happened just over 24 hours ago in Game 1 when McGinnis had a 5-0 lead. Saw that lead almost slip away, had to bring her back in. Backhanded by Yetter, gets it to Salisbury for out number 2. Doesn't want to take any chances here today, so she's keeping McGinnis in the game, and she's awarded her with 2 quick outs in the 6th.
I think it definitely helps that there are no games after the weekend slate for a little. Tampa gets a chance to finally take a break after a lengthy weekend. They take on Caldwell on the 13th, a Friday doubleheader.
Now takes in for a called strike, and I think Coach Cantor realizing that she took on McGinnis in 2 similar situations this week and had to put her back in, and that one drops in the left field. Good job by Kremelich, popping that one through past the drawn in infield, and that is only the 3rd base hit for the Mustangs this afternoon. And I'll bring up the catcher, Grace Anderson.
Yeah, when she's cruising like this, might as well let her go the distance, and hopefully then you don't need her for the next game, but she'll also still be ready to go out of the bullpen.
First pitch to Anderson takes that for strike one.
You mentioned only 2 balls have reached the outfield today, Victor. They both came from Anderson.
Flew out to center, lined out to center. This time she'll hit a ground ball over to Yetter. Will take the easier play to Salisbury at first, and the 2-out single by Kramelich gets wasted. So no runs, 1 hit, 1 left for Southwest Minnesota State. Spartans will look to add some more insurance. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. New pitcher number 10.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how she does in the circles. We take a quick breather.
New pitcher and new catcher for Southwest Minnesota State. Jordan Bussey will take over in the circle for the Mustangs, and Ava Rudd will be the new catcher for Southwest Minnesota State. So Bussey pitching, Rudd catching. Infield remains the same of Acker, Humpel, Ingles, and Steck, first to third. Kramelich, Happerman, and Van Dyke, the outfield from left to right. We'll see a pinch hitter up for the Spartans here in the bottom of the 6th for Aubrey Zekman. And it looks like it'll be Olivia Feldman will pinch hit and lead things off for Tampa in the 6th. Feldman takes that one low and inside for ball 1. Victor Anderson alongside Taylor Stolworthy. Ramsey Hopp pitched well through the first 3 innings, but then the 4th and the 5th innings were her downfall. Give up 11 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and forces the change in the pen to Jordan Bussey, who gets a swing and miss, makes the count 1-1 to Feldman.
Yeah, Tampa just really figured out Hopp's stuff, so they're going to give Bussey a chance out of the bullpen today. Hasn't been super active. Only 2 innings thrown this season, and command issues have plagued her. But we'll see if she's more on the target against the Spartans here in the bottom of the 6th. Last chance for Tampa to extend their advantage.
Feldman swings and misses 2-2. Bussey was a catalyst in their win versus Northwood. In a game versus Northwood, her last appearance, where she pitched a scoreless inning, fouls on 1 off. Her first appearance was against Concordia St. Paul Park in the season opening tournament. Went an inning, gave up a run, gave up 1 hit, walked 8, had 5 earned runs, struck out 2. And picks up the strikeout there. And you hear the Mustang fans excited for the junior out of Lincoln, Nebraska, as he gets the strikeout of Feldman. So back to the top of the order, and Jenna Newpaver. Newpaver, the only Spartan who has not reached today. She's 0 for 3. 2 groundouts on the line out. Back to Hobb. Low and outside, ball 1. 5-0 lead for Tampa in the bottom of the 6th. 5 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Spartans. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Mustangs. And Newpaver takes that one on the outside corner, makes the count 1-1. Bussey making her 17th career appearance as a Mustang. Is ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bussey trying to pitch a clean 6th inning. like she did against Northwood. I like Coach Bowman putting her in low leverage situations, especially want to give more rest to Jordan Marshall, who we will be seeing in game 2. 1-2. That one will get looped over the head of Humphel, and she had a new paper. No longer can say she's the only Spartan that does not reach base. Or without singles sets things up for Abby Johns.
That's a big base hit there for New Paver. Start to heat up again with the bat.
Here's Abby Johns. Johns led off the 5th with a single, came home to score on the Camp Feast RBI that really opened the floodgates for the Spartans in that 3-run 5th. Takes that inside, ball 1. Gwen McGinnis has gone 6 strong innings in a circle. Only scattered 3 singles. Down inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Though got away from Bussy, but nothing warranted to let New Paper take an extra 60 feet. Spartans have rattled off 12 hits today versus Southwest Minnesota State. A little flip out in front of the first baseman, Acker, foul, brings the count to 2-1. John's really thriving in this number 2 position after hitting near the bottom of the lineup the majority of the season. 2-1 from Bussey's up the escalator, 3-1. Kenneth Kreidler waits on deck for Tampa. Bottom of the 6th, 5-0 lead for the Spartans. New Paper at first, 3-1 from Bussey. Swung through in a full count. Nice contingent here on Little League Day. Plenty of Browns supporting the Mustangs down below us from our broadcast position. The payoff pitch is down low in front of Anderson, and Johns takes the free pass. So first and second, they'll bring up Kenna Kreidler.
Yeah, this is a tough spot for Bussey to be in because Kreidler is the Spartans' ace of the offense, and she's had a good day today so far. No hits, but now we'll actually get a chance to swing away after her successful sacrifice in the 5th.
Kreidler officially 0 for 1, had a walk, grounded out back to Hop, and the aforementioned sacrifice in the 5th to move Johns over. Down low, again, good stop by Ava Rudd behind the plate.
On deck is Cam Feast, but I think Treywick will get the AB.
Treyberg will be hitting in Feast's lineup. Of course, the late inning defensive substitution made by Coach Cantor. One-two count to Kreidler. Breaking ball misses the outside edge, 2-2. The Mustang fans really wanting Bussey to do well here. Trying to build off that inning she pitched against Northwood and Bartow. And Dusto there, she strikes out Kenna Kreidler.
You can tell Bussey's a fan favorite, getting a lot of love from the Mustang faithful here.
Well, they understand how hard she's worked, even though the bulk of the innings have been by Marsh and Hobb. Bussey has been working diligently and take advantage of these opportunities. And her best outing so far as a Mustang in 2026, 2 strikeouts, and is ahead of Joey Treywick 0-1.
Treywick's only had 2 hits this season, but she's had timely plate appearances, 3 RBIs on the year.
And Treywick falls behind 0-2. 2 on, 2 out of the Tampa 6. Treywick trying to add to that 5-0 lead for Gwen McGinnis. Treywick jammed, and that one will go out of the reach of Rudd and Acker. New Paver at second, Abby Johns at first. Jordan Bussey trying to have a scoreless 6th inning of relief for Southwest Minnesota State. Ahead 1-0-2 to Joey Treywick. Treywick thought about it for just a split second, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pounded inside, and Treywick evens up the count 2-2. Treywick looking for her first RBI since that Embry-Riddle tournament, where she knocked in all 3 of her runs. 2 of them came against Georgia College. Deuces wild to Treywick. Low and in. Rudd will not appeal to Rick Sanzone, and it's a full count. Micaiah Brummel O'Neill waits on deck. The hottest Spartan bat during his home stretch. Payoff pitch, Treywick hits that to center, but Haferman is there. Makes the catch, and that ends the inning. So Bussy does the job. She holds the Spartans scoreless. She leaves 2 on base. We'll head to the top of the 7th. McGinnis 3 outs away from picking up the win. Spartans lead 5-0 on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Back here, new center fielder Lennox Ulrich in the game. It's center field, and Coach Bowman having a conversation about with the coaching staff of Southwest Minnesota State, probably about a late second substitution. Right now we see Lennox Ulrich in the game at center field. And I think Coach Bowman having a conversation about maybe about the lineup changes for Tampa potentially. And she's having a passionate conversation with Kayla Carpenter, our home plate umpire, Rick Sanzone. Coach Tony Bowman will head on over to the third base box.
By the way, at first base, we've got Olivia Feldman replacing Salisbury after her pinch hit appearance.
So the new defense for Tampa will be Feldman, Yetter, Reynolds, and Newpaver around the infield. Johns, Ulrich, and Treywick, the outfield left to right. Kryler doing the catching, and Gwen McGinnis will look to pick up her sixth complete game and her second shutout on the season, as Kayla Carpenter will make the changes over with head coach Leslie Cantor. Victor Anderson alongside Taylor Stolworthy. Glad that you're with us here on this Saturday afternoon. Spartans ahead 5-0 as we go into the top of inning number 7. Ocker takes that outside for ball 1. McGinnis, 66 pitches, 42 strikes. Only 1 strikeout, but no walks today for the All-American. Acker gets a hold of that one, and that one will sail well out of play towards the Tampa bullpen.
A lot of pop out of Acker's bat today. We've seen a couple of those deep foul balls, but nothing too deep to the outfield, though.
Just that one down the line, and foul brings it 1-2. Plenty of potential future Spartans down in attendance, and it is Little League Day here in the Amoli Family Stadium. Have autograph session with the Spartans at the conclusion of game number 2, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of youngsters lined up for the autograph of number 19 in the Spartan white today. Acker gets a piece of that, fouls at all counts, stays a ball and 2 strikes. McGinnis, including her outings this week, her outings going back to the Lynn series, has gone 31 in the third innings without allowing a run, and that will be handled in shallow left center by Reynolds, round number 1. McGinnis has only allowed 3 singles, and that has been it today. Here's Emma Humpel. Humble goes after the first pitch. Hits that one foul.
Only the third trip through the order for the Southwest Minnesota State offense. Comparatively, Tampa, they've had players with their fourth at-bats in the previous inning. That's how quickly McGinnis has worked through the order.
Jordan Bussey will be on deck, by the way, for the Mustangs, hitting in the number 5 position of the order.
And she is in the on-deck circle, it looks like. Or actually, no. I think it'll be the number 18.
Goes outside, brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That would be Jordan Marsh, the other ace of the staff.
Marsh want to get some swings. Hit well to left, going back and over the shoulder catch by Abby Johns, 2 down.
Love how Abby Johns has grown into that left field defense role. Great running play there on a pretty tough ball that went down the line and would have stayed fair if it dropped.
So 2 down, here comes Jordan Marsh. Getting a sneak preview of the two-way standout. As she'll get the ball to start game number 2 of our doubleheader. Marsh hitting .355 with a home run and 11 driven in. Gets jammed and it won't land up on top of the netting right by Kryler and Kayla Carpenter. Gwen McGinnis trying to pick up her second shutout of the season. Down low, 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, 5 complete games on the year. Only one of them has been a shutout, though.
Marsh gets jammed, fouls that one off, brings the count to 2-2. The other shutout came versus Assumption. That was back on Wednesday. She went to full 7. Set a season high with 7 strikeouts, allowed 2 hits that day. So allowed 3 here today. Ground ball over the new paver, and the Spartans win. Gwen McGinnis goes to full 7, picks up her 8th win of the season and her aforementioned 2nd complete game shutout. And Tampa takes the win 5-0 in game 1 of the doubleheader. So Tampa, 5 runs, 12 hits, no errors, they strand 8. The Mustangs, no runs, 3 hits, no errors. They leave 3. Gwen McGinnis picks up the win. She improves to 8-2 on the season. Ramsey hop tag with the loss. She falls to 3-6. And Taylor, once again, it was the clutch hitting late from Tampa, led by Micaiah Brumble O'Neill, and the Spartans pick up their 8th straight win in a row.
Yeah, clutch hitting's always been a tricky thing for the Spartans, but they did capitalize, jumping on Hop in the 4th and 5th innings. Some big hits came, notably 2 Spartan triples on some clean drives to the outfield. We saw the RBI from Brumbelow on the triple, and then Yetter with 2 outs and the bases empty after the sac fly also opened with a huge triple of her own. And it'll be interesting to see if Tampa's bats can stay this hot entering game 2, as most likely they will be going up against the Mustangs ace.
It'll be Jordan Marshall will likely take the ball, and for Tampa, they'll have plenty of their options in terms of freshmen. It'll either be Ali Specht or Holly Steffes. Well, we'll see who'll get the ball for Tampa in game number 2. Taylor Storeworthy will have the call for that one in about 30 minutes. Here on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network, final score, Spartans 5, Mustangs nothing. We'll talk to you in 30 minutes for game number 2 here on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.